we're doing today. Look at the objective for today. Today, we're going to solve quadratic equations by factoring. This is our objective for today. We have been working on that already. We're going to keep working on it. Okay, we're factoring quadratic equations by factoring. Now, one of the main things we have to do when we solve an equation by factoring, we have to know how to factor. So we're going to be factoring on the order today. Afterwards, I'm going to give you a second piece of paper. I'm going to give you another one that is going to look like this. We're going to do part of it together. The last exercise, I'm going to pick it up. It's going to be for a grade. Okay, that's your assessment. So make sure you take notes. And the last part of class, we're going to get on a stand to review all the other tools. Okay? Make sure you have a pencil. Make sure you have a calculator. Make sure you have a whiteboard. Make sure you have your expo markers. You need something to write with. You need your expo, your whiteboard, and an eraser. And you have your calculator. Are we all good? All right. So first one, 27. I'm gonna do one just to refresh your memory. What does it mean when they ask you to do some factoring? What does factoring mean? They tell us to do factoring or find the factors of a number. Factors of a number means that we're going to use a multiplication. We're going to multiply two numbers.
9, 3.
So I could do 9 and 3.
Y el 9 todavía puede.
What else could I do?
9. 3 plus 3. 3.
I could do 3 times what? 3 times 9. What else could I do? Negative 9 times a negative 3. Very good. What else could I do? 1 times 27. What else could I do? I could do negative 1 times 27. Okay, so factoring.
No, negativo 27.
Oh, negativo 27. Gracias. So factoring means we want two things, that when we multiply that, it's going to give me that number. When I do 1 times 27, it gives me back my 27. If I do 3 times 9, I'm going to give back my 27. Now, notice when we wrote our answers, we were a little random all over the place. So what I like to do is I'm going to use my list of prime numbers and I'm going to go in order. Okay, I try to do those. You're not all, you might have some more numbers that you can use, but I like to have my list of prime numbers here. So these are my prime factors that are listed for you. So I'm going to do the same, but this time I'm going to organize it. So I'm going to start, my first set of factors was 1 times 27, or negative 1 times a negative 27. Okay, I'm looking at the positives and the negatives because my product is a positive. Then if I'm going in order, my next one I want to use is a 3. I know I have 3 times 9 or negative 3 times negative 9. Why do I go in order? Because I don't want to skip anything. Okay? This is correct. This is better. This one gives 1 smiley face. This one gives 2 smiley faces because this is more organized.
It's hard.
Yes, it is very hard here. Questions?
No.
No preguntas? All right. So 81, I'm going to do it the same way only. And in factors of 81, what should I start with?
9.
What's the smallest number I could use here? 1. 1 times what? 81. Or what's the second possibility? Negative 1 times negative 81. Okay? Next, what else should I try? Should I try a 2? No, why not? 2 is a prime number. 81 is not an even number, so it's not divisible by 2. So I don't need it to. Then I'm gonna go with a 3. Then I use 3.
Yeah.
Yes. 3 times what?
27.
Very good. Or negative 3 times negative 27, because we want a positive product. Next, could I try the 5?
No.
No. I know this is not divisible by 5. It doesn't end on 0 or a 5. Should I try a 7?
No.
No, should I try an 11? Is there anything else that could try for the 81?
Yeah.
Which one?
9.
9. 9 times what?
9.
9 times 9 is in 81, or a negative 9 times a negative 9. Okay? How many possible combinations did I get? I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 possible combinations. Depending on how large is the number, you will have more combinations or less combinations. Questions? No preguntas? Alright, I need you to grab your whiteboard. I'm gonna give you a number. Do you have a whiteboard, please? Oh, there's one there, never mind. You probably wanna use the blank side. Okay, we're gonna start with an easy one. Are you ready? Are we ready? Alright, we're going to do 60. Find the factors of 60. Find the factors of 60. Good job, Elaine. Very good. Perfecto. Don't forget about the negative. Good job. Muy bien. Are you on in order? We're gonna try to go in order, okay? It's okay. I know you have it, but I'd rather next time you do it in order. Okay? You have some more Cesar. You're missing one. Oh, I mean like literally one. Oh, it's right here, okay. Next time, baby, just try to do it in order. That way, when you have to actually use it, you're not skipping anything, okay? Look at the negatives. Do you have any negatives? Look for your negatives. Nancy, this is correct, but you also need the negatives.
I need Joshua.
So you have the 1 and the 60. Where's your negative? Well, don't change it, just add the other one. You want the positives and the negatives. You want, this is positive. Now we want a negative 1. You have a positive 60, so now we want a negative 60. So these two are positive, these two are negative. Look at me. Negative. Negative. Yes, negative. And this one is positive. 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 Okay. Yes. Okay, who's gonna give me the factors of 60? 60. What do I start with? 1 times 60. Notice I'm saying 1 times because I'm multiplying. The word factor, that's what it means, you're implying multiplication. Or negative 1 times negative 60. What's my next pair? 230, or negative 2 times negative 30. Next one?
415.
320, maestra.
320, 320. Negative 3 times negative 20. Next one?
416.
I'm going in order. 4 times 15. Or negative 4 times negative 15. Next.
512.
5, 12. ¿En inglés esa?
12,
5 and 12. So 5 times 12 or negative 5 times negative 12. 6, yes. 6, 10. Or negative 6 times negative 10. Any more?
No.
One more. There's no more?
7.
Once I go 10, 6 or 6, it's already listed here. So then I know it's done. Okay? Because if I keep going, there's 7 is not gonna work, 8 is not gonna work, 10 is gonna work, but 10 is already here. So I don't really need that one. Questions? Okay, so what do we call this right here? What did we do to the 60? We factor it. That's called factoring, when you just break it into 2 pieces. There's 2 numbers, and you have many possibilities depending on the number, okay? All right, another one. Get the whiteboard. I'm gonna give you another one. Are we ready? 31. 31. 31. 31. Very good. Oh, sorry, my head started to launch. You did good? Good. Good job. 31. Was this one easier or harder? It was easier, wasn't it? There's only 2 combinations. What were the answers? 1 times 31, -1 times -31. That's it. What is special about 31? It's gonna be a prime number, okay? So when you have a prime number, you can only divide it by 1 or itself. So the prime numbers are actually easier. You don't have that much work to do. Questions? No preguntas? All right. We're gonna pass the second paper. Why do we need to learn factoring? I think I'm trying to be serious. I'm trying to be professional. Okay, so on the second paper I gave you, remember the objective for today was to solve quadratic equations, okay? Why did we review factoring? Because in the process of solving the equation, I had to factor. That's why on your page, one side, we're only gonna review factoring. Now, earlier we knew the number. Now I do not know the number. All I know that it is a quadratic or a trinomial. So we're gonna factor a trinomial. This trinomial, we call it quadratics because we have an x to the second power, and we studied that before. Anytime we follow this format, we know it's a quadratic equation. It has 1, 2, 3 terms, so we call it a trinomial, just like a tricycle. Okay, a tricycle has 3 wheels. Un triciclo tiene 3 ruedas. Entonces, 3 significa 3. Tiene 3 parts. That's what we call it a trinomial. Okay? So we're going to start with number 1. Everybody find number 1? Okay. So they give us a function to factor. What does it mean if I'm going to factor? I'm going to break it into 2 parts and they're going to multiply. So the first thing I do, because they told me to factor, I'm going to break it into 2 parts, and my parentheses are telling me I'm going to multiply. I already know that's what they want. Okay? That's the first thing. I also know that when I'm factoring, I always end with my x in here and an x in here. Then I need to find these 2 numbers. How do I find these 2 numbers? We said before that we have to find the product of A and C. What are they talking about AC? We're talking about the number on the very front and the number on the very back. So on my equation right here, this would be ax squared plus bx plus c. That means that my a is a 6, and I'm gonna multiply by my c, which is also a 6. How much is 6 times 6? 36. So now I am looking at factors of 36, just like we practiced on the starter. Okay? I'm looking for factors of 36. We already know we have a positive or negative or positive. So it could be 1 times 36 or a negative 1 times a negative 36. 2 times what? 18, thank you. Or negative 2 times negative 18. Then we have, what should I try next?
3.
3. 3 times 12. or negative 3 times negative 12. We have one more,
¿Qué número de matemáticas por ustedes?
4. 4 times
9.
9, or negative 4 times negative 9. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 possibilities. Or the 6 times 6, of course. We have 10 possibilities. How do I know which one I'm going to need? Then I'm looking at the second part. I need the sum or difference of bx. Bx is this part right here. I need to somehow use the numbers that will build me a 15x. I need to build me a 15, okay? When I use these two numbers, could I make a 15 out of these two? No. Which one am I going to need? I'm gonna have to use 3 and 12. Would they be positive or negative? They're gonna be the positive ones, so I'm going to use this combination. I know that I could eventually write a 3x and a 12x, and together I could build me a 15x. So that's the two numbers I'm going to use, okay? So then I come in here, I'm going to put my 3. It was positive, so I put a plus, and I'm going to bring my 12. It was positive, so I put a plus. Last, we have one more step to do, because this equation has a leading coefficient that is special. What's special about it?
Square.
The front number, the 6, is not a 1. So when my leading coefficient, when my A value is different than 1, I have one extra step. Remember, I'm gonna take all these, and then I need to divide it by 6. I'm gonna take this one, and I'm going to divide it by 6. So what happens with the first one? 3 and 6, they don't go even into each other. So the 6 goes in the x, very good people. So this turns into a what? Plus 3. My 3 is gonna stay exactly like it was. I'm gonna bring the parentheses down. And then for my second one, I have a 12 and a 6. Does the 6 go even into a 12?
Yeah.
Yes. So what do I do here?
2. X plus
My x is the one that stays the same, and this turns into a what?
2.
2. And it's a positive, so I'm going to put my plus 2. That's my final answer. How do I know that's my final answer? Because they told me to factor it, and that's what I did. Questions? No preguntas? All right,
Esa es la respuesta.
that's it. That's all they're asking you to do is factor it. So I have two parts, I have two numbers, they are multiplying each other. I did not know what this number was at the beginning. I still don't know what it is. I just know that they're multiplying each other, so it's in factor form. Okay? Any questions about that one? All right, I want you to try number 2, please. I'm gonna leave this here for inspiration.
Number 2.
Try number 2.
¿Se lo tenemos que hacer nosotros?
Yes. What was the step 1? What's the first thing I did? Set up your parentheses. That means you understand the question. First, set up your parentheses. Yes.
They have the all of them.
Oh, you can do that first if you want to. You don't have to. It doesn't, either way is fine. If, well, if you already know which ones are gonna be over 16, then you don't have to. So what does that give you?
Ya terminamos.
48, very good. So now you're gonna break it down factors of 48. Los factores de 48. 4 times 12, 22 times 2, very good. And I know
11
that
por 4.
I need a positive 16, so I know I'm only gonna need the negative numbers, okay? Which one is gonna build me bx on this one is the 16. I need to build a 16x. So which one is gonna give me a 16? The 4 with the 12. Okay, so I'm going to bring it here. We have the 4, it's positive, so I put a plus. We have the 12, it's positive, so I put a plus. And again, this is a special case where my leading coefficient is not a 1, so I have to do the extra step. What is my extra step? I'm going to copy this and I have to divide it by 6. The same seen on the other binomial, I'm gonna divide it by 6. With the first one, the 6 goes even into a 4. Yes or no? No. So what do? Slide it. So my answer will be 2x plus 4. My 4 stays the same. Okay? My 6 goes in front of the x. My 4 just is going to just come down the same. For the second one, that 6 goes even into a 12.
This is what it says, 6x.
Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you. 6x. And for the second one, it goes evenly, so this changes to a 2, and my x stays the same. Okay? This one stays the same. That's it. That's all you have to do. Questions? No preguntas? All right. So on the back side, look on the back side and tell me what is different about the back side. What's different now? What are they asking you to do?
Solamente encontrar el 13 y el 12 cosas. Quadratic.
What is different to the prior page? The first page told me to do factoring. What is this one asking me to do? Solve it. Okay? So if I'm gonna solve it, what is my final objective? I need to know what x is. So my final answer will be x equals some number. And that's going to be my final answer. There's the difference. Okay? Now in the process of we're going to use factoring, that's where we learn how to factor. So I'm going to do the same process that earlier, but it's gonna have a step further. If I am going to solve it, first I am going to factor it. So I'm gonna do exactly what I did before. Notice this one is an equation. What makes it an equation? This right here, that equal. That's what makes equation, comes from the word equal. Okay? So this is equal to 0. But I'm going to do the same thing I did earlier. I'm gonna bring my x here, and what did I do next? I was looking for what? My A and my C. And I need their product. What is my A for this one? Are you sure? What's my A value? It's a 1. If there's not a number listed, it's understood to be a 1. Okay? So I have 1 times C. What is my C value? Negative 28. Be careful with the sign. This one is super important. Watch the sign. Watch the sign. Notice the ones we did earlier were positive. I'm looking for factors of a negative 28. Okay? So, what happens if I have a negative 28? What does that mean? I'm going to start with my 1 times 28. That would give me a positive 28. So what am I going to have to do is make only one of them negative, and the other one has to be positive. So it could be a negative 1 times positive 28, or backwards. I could have a positive 1 times a negative 28. You see what I did there? Okay, so this is like a special case. Next, I'm gonna try 2 times what? 2 times 14. So it could be a negative 2, or it could be a positive 2 with a negative 14. What else could I try? What should I do next?
22. Bueno, no, 16. No.
Go in order. 1, 2. Will 3 work?
14.
No. Will 4 work?
No tengo que decir.
Yes. So 4 times what? 7. 4 and 7. I could try a negative 4, or I could try a positive 4 and a negative 7. Okay? Alright. So, on the right side, we say, how do I know which one will I use? I'm looking for the sum or difference of the x. The x in this case is 3x. So which combination have you used to make a 3x? Can I make a 3 out of a 1 and a 28 by adding or subtracting? No. It's gonna have to be the 4 and the 7, right? Now, will it be a negative 4, positive 7, or a positive 4 and a negative 7? Negative 4 and positive 7, because I want this square to be positive, so I need my larger number to be positive. So it will be a negative 4 and a negative 7, and a positive 7. If I were to combine them, that's going to give me my positive 3x. Very good. So now I'm coming here. We're saying that we're using a negative 4, so I'm gonna put minus 4. I use a positive 7, so I put plus 7. That's the same that we did earlier. But now they want me to know what x is. I have to solve for x. So I have one more step. I'm gonna take each factor. I know that I have two numbers that I'm multiplying and the result is 0. What does it mean? One of them could be a 0. I don't know which one. So x minus 4 could equal 0, or x plus 7 could equal 0. I really don't need my parentheses there. If x minus 4 equals 0, all I have to do is one more step. I'm gonna do the operation here. Plus 4 and plus 4. And I know that x will equal a positive 4. There's my one answer. Or the second one, I know that x plus 7 is 0. So if I take it away from each side to get x by itself, I have x equals negative 7. There's my second answer. Questions, anybody? So everything up to here is the same. The only thing that is different when they ask you to solve is that you need to come all the way until you find what x equals. That's the only thing that is different, but in the process you have to factor. That's what we've been practicing the factoring part. Okay? Last question, number 4. Make sure you put your name by it, and you're gonna work it by yourselves. All right? This is your assessment for today. I need to collect your paper.